Super. Thanks everyone for coming out. We got lucky lunchtime slot, so it's as busy as I thought it might be. But appreciate you all coming out. It's really good to have you here. I'd just like to introduce myself first. I'm Dan Edgerley. I'm from Inven Capital. We are a climate tech fund focused on decarbonization and sustainability. We've been around since around 2015, so before it became popular. But I don't think that makes us any better than anyone else. It's just we have the hindsight of knowing maybe the timing was a good time to start in the climate tech space. We've just finished raising our second fund beginning of this year, which gives us a lot of new capital to deploy into interesting startups. And one of those startups is here today, and I'm joined by Simon Phelan, who is the CEO and founder of Hometree. I'd like to hand over and let you introduce yourself and maybe start with a why as how you started Hometree and why.
Sure. Thanks, Daniel. So as Daniel said, I'm the founder of a business called Hometree. We're a UK-based energy services business. We are now the fourth largest provider of energy home services products and services in the UK. My background was in private equity, and I was involved in a number of acquisitions in the home services space where I got to study the business model in detail, but also go and look at some of the residential solar installation businesses in the US. And I fundamentally felt that as the energy model moved to a more decentralized model where the home, in effect, becomes a new node on the grid, that homeowners would need new form of energy services business that could help them on the transition to both retrofitting their home, how they finance the hardware, and how they maintain and repair the actual hardware in their home. So in terms of motivation and why, I thought it was a pretty enormous opportunity to play a role in decarbonization of the home, and thought from a purpose perspective that would be a pretty cool thing to be involved in as well.
Cool. So maybe you can give us a little bit of explanation of how you intend to achieve this.
Sure. So today, Hometree offers, in effect, an insurance product to homeowners and landlords across the UK, where homeowners take out an annual policy. They pay on typically monthly, some pay upfront for the year. And it's, in effect, a product called emergency insurance. So we are protecting against the critical infrastructure in their home, their heating systems, plumbing drains, etc. And so it's not a traditional insurance product where we pay out when there's a claim. Our product is an emergency response where we have built a network of 5,000 multi-trade engineers, so electricians, plumbers, heating engineers, roofers, who will ultimately get to the home within 24 hours to resolve the claim. And so our core business today, we'll have finished the year with over 100,000 customers. We've now a network of over 5,000 engineers in the UK. So we have some scale. We're in, on average, over 1,000 homes a day doing these types of repairs. But what's most interesting about this from a sustainability angle is that actually what we find is that when our customers are deciding to upgrade from, for example, a gas boiler to a heat pump, to new forms of sustainable hardware, such as solar PV or batteries, they tend to come to us as the first point of call, rather than going and trying to find just a one-off installer who can fit that, because we're already in the home, we have the trusted relationship, we have the trusted engineers, and this is why for us the opportunity now is, yes, to expand the core insurance product, but really to move deeper and deeper into the range of energy services we offer the homeowner. Interesting.
And your vision obviously shows a need for, and also I guess the need of globally around decarbonization, net zero, keeping to 1.5 degrees. It shows a need for the kind of unprecedented scale, I think, here of moving these businesses upwards. And this, I think, presents also a unique challenge, right? We're seeing challenges in the market related to capacities, both on the installation side, but also on the supply side, and making sure that businesses such as yours are really where they need to be in terms of efficiency of deployment, making sure that these challenges are not bottlenecks for growth. I think is going to be one of the key areas where we're going to need to focus on over the coming months and years. So what do you feel is Hometree's kind of key advantage here in enabling you to meet some of these challenges?
Yeah, look, I guess as Inven knows, we started our life more as a direct-to-consumer installation business in the heating space. There's clearly been multiple venture models that have been funded, whether it's in traditional boiler installs, heat pump installs, solar, with different forms of financing. And you know that I have, through experience and I guess through studying the category, a view that it is a challenging problem to solve to just be in the 1 in 20 year retrofit market, because the customer acquisition costs are just very prohibitive and you don't really have an ongoing relationship with the customer. I guess the advantage that Hometree has is that we have a very high retention, high margin subscription business. On average, we're churning in the low single digit teens customers each year, so we're retaining 85 to 90% of the customer base. And we also have a lot of engagement with the engineer network. And so we believe that what gives us an advantage is that we have to spend no additional marketing costs to win the heat pump install, win the solar install, and we're also a fully regulated financial services business today, given that insurance was where we started. So we think that the winning formula in this space is to have experience in home services, financial services, and technology. And we think where we've started with our wedge product, if you want to call it that, is advantageous versus trying to just compete with everyone raising venture, spending it on Google to acquire leads for new heat pumps or solar, etc. We can build a base, and more importantly as well, we can lock in the engineers, because our model means that it's not just giving them a once-off job. We can give them lots of repeat work constantly on the repair and maintenance side.
Okay. Obviously, there's clearly a lot of momentum in this market, and we see it. I mean, Inven itself, we believe pretty heavily in the importance of residential decarbonization. We've invested in multiple companies across this space, such as Zola, Tado, Sonnen historically, Voltaire as well. So all of these companies, I think, approach the problem in a slightly different way. And each have their own unique selling points and advantages in the market. But we also feel that there's a lot of market to go around, right? I think there's a lot of opportunity here also for integrations, potential partnerships in terms of securing supply and working together on demand. We have this belief, I think, that we see the future energy system as decentralized, as efficient, interconnected, and ultimately decarbonized as well. And I think, but obviously, there's a lot of work which still needs to go on here. And this kind of drive, I think, towards collaboration and efficiency is going to be key here. Also, I think the thing which is noticeable on the market is that once a household buys into being an active part of the energy transition, we see that they're much more willing to buy other clean energy propositions. So I think there's a lot of kind of flow over from different businesses, which we'll see here as well. So I really look forward actually to the market developments and what's going to happen in this space. And I think that Hometree is very well positioned in order to get there. But I notice we are slowly running out of time. Maybe I'll just leave the last couple of words to Simon. You could mention maybe one or two things which the audience might want to take away with them about Hometree or yourself.
Sure. Look, as I said, I think we've spent a couple of years in the UK building a relatively large home services business. We now believe the future for Hometree is expanding into a range of financial services and installation products around the home. So very keen, as Daniel said, it's not going to be built by one company, whether it's supply chain challenges, raising low-cost capital. It's going to require the industry as a whole coming together to tackle some of these challenges. So we'd love to connect with other companies in this space, but I think the direction of travel for our business is very clear, and it's quite an exciting couple of years ahead.
Super. Thanks very much.
Thank you.